Welcome back to Inside Sources. Today, as we continue our conversation on the future of Nigeria, we have again with us for the second time, and the last time we spoke with him was about a year ago, our elder statesman, Chief Edwin Clark. I'd like to welcome him back to Inside Sources.
Thank you very much. You're also welcome.
Thank you so much. The last time we spoke, that was just about a year ago when we started Inside Sources. And by the way, the program is now 1 year. And we are grateful, you know.
I watched it myself.
Okay.
Yes, it was very nice.
Thank you, sir.
Never mind what questions you asked me. I enjoyed it. I learned a lot from it again.
Oh, fantastic.
Yes.
Thank you so much. So if we just take a look at this year, the year is ending in a couple of weeks. How do you assess what has happened in the country? How do you assess the government in this year, 2024?
Yes.
You know, where do you think things are? If you can start like that, sir.
Thank you very much. I think Nigerians have to be more realistic. They have to be practical. They have to change their attitude. The ordinary Nigerians included. Because the politicians in Nigeria are the greatest enemies. Some of them are the greatest enemies of their own country, called Nigeria. Because they don't care what happens to the country. Anyway, before we go on, let me express my sadness and sympathy to the family, to the government, and the people of your state, for the loss of these children. In fact, I thought Mr. President would declare the mourning period for these 35 innocent children. May the Almighty God take care of them.
Amen.
Wherever they are. Thank you.
Amen.
Now, having said that, Nigerians are we are the enemies of ourselves. Because a patriotic Nigerian must be a Nigerian who thinks of Nigeria first before himself.
True.
But today, the politicians, some of them, most of them, think more of what they would gain than what Nigeria should gain. Nigerians should come together, both the government and the opposition and the other people. Some of us are now going to 98. I think I've gained a lot about Nigeria.
Certainly.
But to say that for over 1 year of President Tinubu's government, we don't know what is going on. Nobody has contacted us. They don't believe that we do exist. So, Nigerian leaders do not know how to manage diversity. That's the problem. So you ask this question. I believe on my own side, it is too early to judge the success or the failure of this government. Elections have just taken place 1 year with the Supreme Court decision. We have a duty therefore to support the present administration. Never mind what will happen in 2027. But let's talk about the one we have finished. But there are many Nigerians who want positions. Therefore, 6 months after election, they are ready to contest again. They don't believe that the new government will be given time to settle down. But that has never happened. Now that I'm supporting, giving marks to Tinubu's government, I think it's good. It's healthy enough. People doubted that. It has shown that it's healthy enough.
True.
People are also saying that they have made remarkable progress in international contacts.
Yeah.
And Nigerians should not read unnecessary meaning into some of this travel. As a government, there's no doubt Mr. President Tinubu has committed some mistakes.
Mm.
When I was in London, when this issue of first of the march against the government,
the end bad governance protest in August.
Protest. And people said, don't come home. I said, I will. Let me go home. I have been part of this government from the First Republic, right from my young age.
True.
So let me go. So I came back, joined others in trying to appeal to see that there is peace. But I worked with horror, with fear. What happened that 1st of August, 9th up to 3rd, I felt something was happening. But luckily, it's all over.
Mm.
And so, I do not think that it's fair of anybody to blame the present government or to say that they've not been working or they've been working. Let Nigerians come together and work for this government.
Yeah.
Let me add this to it.
Okay, sir.
I feel that the President Tinubu himself should sit down and listen to Nigerians. He is not a dictator. He's not a military dictator, military president. He's a civilian president. So he should listen to those in his party and to others. So I think that Nigerians are the enemies of ourselves because we are only thinking about ourselves, not the unity of this country. When the patriots visited Mr. President on one Friday and delivered the message, I think Mr. President should revisit the discussion that took place in that meeting. What Nigeria wants now is nothing but restructuring. That's all.
Okay, Chief, so that we dimension the issues one by one.
Okay.
Let me take it from your point that Nigerians should help themselves, that we should come together.
Yes.
What will you say to the idea that it's time for the Nigerian elite to come and develop a consensus that will be across party lines, that will be across regional lines, that will be across religious lines, and whatever it is that divides us, and that we should call on those who have reason to become number one citizens, people like General Gowon, General Babangida, Abdulsalami, Buhari, President Jonathan.
You're only counting military people.
No, I included President Jonathan, people that have been heads of state or presidents, to come together and advocate so that we can sit together as a people and say that, look, regardless of what party is in power, this is the minimum that Nigerians should expect, rule of law. And another important stuff, what do you think about that? The idea of bringing those leaders to lead the charge, to advocate for an elite consensus.
Thank you very much. Well, I'm very much disappointed by the attitude of our elders, which I'm one of them. I think it will be wrong for us to sit down watching the destruction of the legacy we built over the years, built by the people that you just mentioned. Without being immodest, I was a minister together with some of the people you mentioned. I was in that government. When I say that up till now, many of us have not been consulted or asked for any advice also. Not that one is asking for it. I've been a senator. I've been a minister.
Federal minister.
A federal minister. I've been so many things. What the hell do I want? During Jonathan's time, perhaps people say I was sleeping there. I never slept there. But I was very close to him. So what am I still looking for in Aso Rock? Nothing. So what am I saying? We were all ministers together. At least 3 of them became head of state. Murtala Mohammed, gentleman, was the head of state. Then Obasanjo was head of state.
Yeah.
Then you have Buhari. Then you have IBB. Then you have Abacha and Abdullah. These are military people. There are many, many other civilians in this country who would like to, who have the knowledge, the intelligence, the ability, and the personality. But most of them have not been called. And a few must have spoken, felt disappointed because they were not listened to. This government can only succeed if the politicians change their attitude. What am I saying? Trump can never be said to be better than any of my presidents in Nigeria or past president. But the Americans, as I said, are very strong institutions. So let us develop the institutions of government in this country so that they can speak. If INEC speaks, people say it's INEC talk. If any other institution talks, they say it's Nigeria talking. So I think it is not possible. Who are the people? At least our ages range between 80 and 90.
Yeah.
I'm going to 98.
Wow.
So when you think about that, what are we going to do in government? But we can advise.
Yeah.
So that is why when the patriots came and talked, we expect that President Tinubu to give priority to the reconstruction of Nigeria. How does he do it? Call the leaders of the various ethnic groups. Nobody to pretend that you can manage Nigeria as a unitary form of government. So I believe that Mr. President, you call the people you call the leaders, not those of us. We can contribute, we can say something to our own people. Let there be town hall meetings by various ethnic groups. Let them decide, what do we want? What does Nigeria want? Are we equal? Before.
Let's take it.
So it is not possible to bring these old people you mentioned and others like ourselves for a meeting. We can meet at our level with the president presiding.
Right.
Then he can meet with the next group.
Okay.
But you have a country whereby people think only of becoming president in order to lift up their own people, not Nigerians. So each president in this country has gone to the extent, we have gone to the extent of treating some ethnic nationalities as first class, others as second class. But if you know how to manage people of Nigeria together, there will be no problems. Okay.
I mean, very, very important points that you made there. And I see your point that there are issues that has to be sorted out. And you believe that, the current president has a lot of role to play.
Yes, he has a lot of role. Yeah. Let me say this.
Yeah.
The question, I'm writing an article. I may say this. The 1st of August problem we had, and there was a vote of confidence on Mr. President.
Yeah, the last Council of State.
Yeah, The question was, I learned there was another one again recently.
Yeah.
The question I
first.
asked, for what? How relevant does Mr. President need that type of thing? No. President is the president of Nigeria as a country. Whether you are in the position, whether you don't belong to any party, whether you are APC, he's the president of the whole of Nigeria. And it should behave like that. Let me give you some of the failings.
Okay.
It's not enough. Nigeria has developed for a long time. When President Tinubu was very relevant was when he was governor of Lagos State. The problem between him and the former president of Nigeria, Obasanjo, and we all hailed him. But it appears that he's bending to the other side. Now, what one believes is that Mr. President, you have constant meeting with the leaders of the country, with the various groups, with the youths, with the women, and the recent trial, as if the whole government, we were afraid of youths, young boys, so you charge them to come. What for? I think the problem, therefore, is that the leadership should embrace everybody in this country.
Okay.
And when your enemies should be in your government, doesn't matter. But today, you look for all your friends, whether they are competent, whether they are social, whether they are honest, they must be in your government. It's wrong. Nigeria does not belong to Mr. President. Nigeria belongs to everybody. And unless we are equal, every Nigerian is equal, and unless we believe that every Nigerian, any Nigerian, can rise to the top position, otherwise there will be no Nigeria. Problem will be there.
Let's move it along, Chief. Let's look at some specific things, like the tax reform bills. The president sent 4 tax reform bills to the National Assembly, and then the National Economic Council had a meeting, and where the governor said, oh no, president should withdraw those bills. What is your take on all of this? How do you read it? Now, before you comment, Chief, I just wanted to remind you an important point. Clearly, Nigeria's tax to GDP ratio is one of the lowest in the world. So we do have a problem with getting our people, those who can pay, to pay. That's a basic problem.
Yes.
But how do you read, the way these tax reform bills have been going?
Well, as I told you, I have never declared open my support, making speeches for President Tinubu. As I said, it is too early for me to issue a statement. But let me say this. On this ground, I congratulate him for his steadfastness, for his courage and wisdom. Because certain individuals or politicians want to run this country as their own country. When you decide to share, you must say, where the money we are sharing, where does it come from? So it must be taxed. But at the same time, I was shocked when the 36 governors, under the chairmanship of the vice president, met and discussed that Mr. President should set aside the bills for further consultation. And not only that, for the 19 northern governors to come together. When they have been meeting over the years, they should ask themselves, what have we gained? What have we realized for dividing Nigeria? 19 governors, 17 governors, and so forth. Today you have progressive governors and PDP governors. These are not things helping Nigeria. The constitution of Nigeria now with practice is bad. It's not good enough. By that meeting, the vice president, my good friend, his son, became a fodder that he now has to carry news. That body is a constitutional body set up by the Constitution of Nigeria.
Yeah.
That at an advisory council, their council or whatever.
Yeah, advisory council, yes. You're right.
Under the chairmanship of Mr.
Vice President.
Should meet with all the governors attending. But today, the governors have converted that
Council.
This council to an executive body. They've now gone into politics, so they now control the NEC, what you call it.
Yeah.
So
NEC.
There. Now, after they've done that, the question one asks, who were they going to consult? How many times have they been consulting their people? They know they don't stay at home. They're always in Abuja, thinking that they will get more money. So, as far as I'm concerned, I was so shocked again when I learned that the 19 governors of the North have met again. If 36 of you met, why are you meeting again? Because the northern governors, most of them, do not realize what they are doing. So this double standard, this arrogance of power must stop.
Okay.
So as far as I'm concerned, that tax bill must go on. But let me tell you one thing. Where I came in. Section 62 of the Nigerian Constitution, 1999 Constitution, talks about derivation.
Yeah.
Now, that's a tax system also. From there, taxes are paid. One would have expected that Mr. President, in his 4 bills, would not forget the provision of the payment of tax to the states that produce whatever resources.
Right.
So that again was a mistake by the government. To underplay us, Nigerians forget so quickly. I was Commissioner for Finance in a Midwest state between 1972 and 1974. I was Commissioner for Education, Midwest State, from 1968 to 1971. I am therefore surprised that people forget so easily. When our sage, our father, Chief Obafemi Awolowo, was in charge of the government of Western Nigeria, it is true, cocoa was one of the resources areas where we got our resources.
Right.
And 50% went to the West. And with that 50%, we had free education in 1956.
Yeah.
We benefited from it. But when television came in 59,
right.
When I say we, those of us from the minority area, Midwest, we don't. Roads that were built by Israeli companies, they never came to the Midwest. That's why the Midwest movement was formed. Similarly, the core state in the East believed that the Igbos were suppressing them. They form about 2/3 of the population. Therefore, they want the core states. Even our people, Chief Udo Odoma, and many others, believed that they were being oppressed.
Right.
That's how Niger Delta Congress came into being. But what happened? When the Midwest state was created, the region was created in 1963, what happened? They decided we should go home immediately. And there's a saying we used to, there was one Chief Oluwapata. And when Chief Akintola saw him, he said, what's your name? He said, Apata. How do you spell Apata? They say A-K-P-A-T-A. Yeah. Say, no, you're not Yoruba. Yoruba say A-P-A-T-A something. So you go back to your state. So we laughed. We are using it and laughing. But what is the significance? At the end of the government, of the two governments, when they separated,
right,
the West, the Yorubas, refused to share the assets and the liabilities belonging to the two regions. Till today, they were the only people being treated like that. And I remember as Commissioner for Finance, I accompanied my governor to Ekiti, where Adebayo was staying the weekend. And the late Oni of Ife and SB Bakare were there with him. We were all playing. Then this issue came up. Adebayo, who used to be so nice, was very angry. What did you contribute to our economy? And so on and so forth. So till today, we did not share. Only in that area, West, the East shared their own. Not share their own.
But the West refused to share.
The West refused to share.
Is that so?
And what have they done?
Interesting.
They are up to today.
Okay.
They didn't share. Then when the question was asked, Abdullahi refused. Then what am I saying today? It is the same West that now takes the briefcase to come to Abuja to share in the federal money. And the money comes from where? From the same Midwest, they refuse to share money with.
The issue between Chief Afe Babalola and Dele Farotimi, the question of criminal defamation, the man has been in detention. I think it's been released this weekend. What's your take? How do you measure, what has happened? What's your own assessment?
Listen, Nigeria, because we have no problem now. We're not solving our problems, major problems. This is a very small matter that could be settled between the two. If a man says that you said, I did this against the government, I used criminality or something, explain. Or vice versa. So I do not want to comment on it. I'm a lawyer. Not only that, I know my limitations. And above all that, Chief Afe Babalola is my friend. And I do not want to make comments that will be misunderstood.
Okay.
And so all that I will say is that the people should not blow up this thing. Let this matter be settled. If the man has gone on bail, the Yoruba elders, that's why you have a ferry. They should now summon two of them and talk to them. Because the matter is assuming wider dimension, where politicians are coming in again. So I'm appealing to my friend, Chief Afe Babalola. He had made his name. One man who had made his name in the whole of this Nigeria for not entering the door, the room of secondary school. A man today, one of the best lawyers Nigeria or Africa has produced. So I think we must respect our people who have contributed to the name of Nigeria. Not that the rich should oppress the poor, but I believe that this matter is being overblown. So I'm appealing to both sides to sit down. Some of us will be ready to participate. So settle it. this thing, not to allow a Afenifere or other Yoruba bodies to come in to say so. Those who want to play politics, let them play their politics. So if this is a matter of libel or of criminal libel or so on, these are things that should be sorted out. I don't want to make any comments.
No comments. All right. Thank you so much for your views and for your contribution. And thank you for your voice, which travels very far in this country. Thank you for coming again to Inside Sources. We do appreciate it. And Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, sir.
Thank you very much. Well, I wish you happy Christmas, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Exactly.
And I pray the government to listen to the voice of the people, particularly at this time, and identify himself with the ordinary people in Nigeria. There are many people who will be satisfied if Mr. President comes out to address Nigerians casually and so on, talking to them. And so I think we need more of Mr. President meeting up with the generality of Nigeria.
All right. And that's
So I wish him a very Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. And I also pray that Nigerians, despite our difficulties, we have no other country to go to. This is the only country we have. No other country in Africa can take the number of refugees that will come from Nigeria. So let us remain our country. Agreed. Let us meet what the various groups in Nigeria want and come back together and see what we cannot manage. If the colonial government can manage, put us together, why can't we
manage ourselves?
Could we it ourselves?
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Thank you, and I wish you all the best of luck.
Thank you so much.
God bless.
Thank you so much for coming to this.